Business sponsored by Danske Bank. Some lead, others follow. Danske Bank with full SEPA capabilities, cash management services and expert advice.
And you're welcome back. It's coming up on 6:46. Now, at this time, every week we normally review a business book, but given that it is coming up to Christmas, we thought we'd look back at our highlights of all the books we have done this year. And Alan Jordan, Sales Director of BookBuzz, is with me in studio to go through our top 10 business books of the year. Alan, very good morning to you. As you can probably tell, I'm barely able to get a few of the words out, but plenty of really, really good books this year, and you've taken 10 highlights.
Yeah, we have a Christmas stocking full for you this morning, Ian, so you can cuddle up with over the Christmas. And it ranges from everything from sales, social media, marketing, strategy, culture, innovation, decision making and entrepreneurship. And I know how partial you are to the X Factor, and I know you'll be cuddling up on Saturday with your glass of warm milk for the
live final. Yep,
absolutely. So in the words of Dermot O'Leary, not in any particular order, our first book through to the top 10 is Innovation as Usual. Now, this is a book by Paddy Miller and Thomas Wedelsberg, and it really is, it talks about how innovation efforts are trapped on what the authors call brainstorm island. And businesses have always heard about, having burning platforms, innovate or die, remember what happened to the dinosaur sermons. And what this book tackles is, it tackles about what you really need to do to get that alive and developed within your business.
Now, something which I really don't like discussing is marketing. I can't find any use for these people. I'm only joking, but marketing people might be interested in the second one you have here, Do It Marketing.
Yeah, Do It Marketing by David Newman. And it really, marketing is incredibly complex. You've got the communication mix, you've got the channels available, the marketing mix. It's simple, really. But really, in fairness to Do It Marketing, it tries to make it simple. It puts together 77 simple steps, blood on the wall marketing, that really gets you focused on who are your clients and why are they your clients, and you only focus on the what after you answer those two questions. And the only three problems you can solve, marketing can solve, is related to process, people and profit. Which one is it? Ask the right questions and develop the right sales conversation.
Now, one of those 77 things he discusses is sell like a girl. What does that mean?
Absolutely. It's all about relationships, Ian, as you well know. It's not transactional, and women are just far better at doing it than us mere males.
Now, something I really did like during the year was just the latest 3 rules, how exceptional companies beat the odds. I really like this book. What's that about?
Yeah, it's by 2 Deloitte consultants, and as soon as you hear consultants, you probably think, oh, that's a government health wording attached to the book. Michael Rayner and Mubtaz Ahmad. And this is work that's taken about 10 years, research on 25,000 companies. And really, it's what are the things that make companies successful and that really lead to exceptional performance. There's only 3: better before cheaper, revenue before cost, and there are no other rules. But by better before cheaper, what they mean is you don't ignore price competition. You just make sure that the data you have is clear and that you go with better beforehand. And revenue before cost, it doesn't that you don't keep costs under control. It means increasing revenue is more important.
Now, a book like that, 25,000 companies they're looking at over a long period of time, it sounds like an academic study rather than an easy-to-read book title.
That's the one government health warning I'd have with it. Look, it's quite detailed, lots of references to the research and study, but it's a fascinating read. So it is a little bit of, it's not your classic business book, a lot of research in there, but the research is compelling and their conclusions are, certainly you've got to look at them.
Now, I want to jump forward a little bit to something that the title alone got me, and the title is WTF, or What's the Future of Business?
Yeah, that's right. That's by Brian Solis. And have you been following that viral video by WestJet, the Canadian airline?
I've heard about it, but I haven't.
Yeah, quickly, 8th of December, what they did is they bought a whole bunch of presents for 250 people, passengers going to Toronto and Hamilton, put together a viral experience. That's 3 days ago. It has 9 million viewers on YouTube and there's over 13,000 comments. And what Brian Solis talks about and what's the future of business, it's all about the experience, not an experience, the experience. And in actual fact, your chief executive officer, the CEO, should now be called the Chief Experience Officer.
Oh God, I hate titles like that. A lot of companies do have those.
Yeah, sorry, that's a smart one. It actually does really a lot of. Brian Solis is very good. He's done books like Engage, The Art of Business, and as usual. So it's a compelling read, and it talks about a dynamic customer journey and how you've got to be involved in it. So yeah, it's good.
Okay, Entrepreneur Revolution. What's that about?
Yeah, do you know, Ron does a huge amount of work with entrepreneurs and also through his work in the Innovation Academy. And the Entrepreneur Revolution, it's an SME toolkit and mindset on to really get your business up and running. And this book contains all of the ingredients for Ken Robinson about the education system, Mavericks at Work, the future of business is small, and it uses. So what it's really saying, look, the world's biggest brands who have the hottest products are all involved in sales conversations. As an entrepreneur in a small business, you need to be involved in those conversations. And guess what? Because you're small, nimble and agile, you have the tool set to do that. So really, for any entrepreneur out there, it's a fascinating read.
Number 6 on the list, The Connected Company by Dave Gray.
Yeah, and this is, I don't know if you remember the Red Queen race in Alice Through the Looking Glass. The faster you run, you just stand still. And the Connected Company really hits on this because 80% of our economy is service-based, yet all of our systems are devised for manufacturing companies. And really, services have got to be an interactive process because we're dealing with unpredictable clients, unreasonable demands. And how do you turn your organisation? How do you get it in a way that it can be connected to your customer base? And is your company designed to deliver customer delight? Again, it's talking about stripping away bureaucracy, giving your people the power. And again, it's a book that's coming through all of the stuff that we've read over the last couple of years, is that you've really got to make your organisation nimble. You've got to have your people connected. A bit of bio teams in here as well. So really a great read.
Now, number 7 on the list is The Art of Thinking Clearly, something I'm not really doing this morning.
No, one of your favourite books last year, and for most people, was Daniel Kahneman's Thinking Fast and Slow.
Yeah, that was a great one last year.
It is, and you know what? This is more of the same, and it's all about the decision-making process and getting you to have an appreciation of it. So he breaks down difficult cognitive, and this is Rolf Dobelli, he breaks down difficult cognitive science theories into layman's terms, and it allows to illustrate the various biases that govern human actions. It's a bit of an intellectual buffet, but it's something you can dip in and dip out, and you'll walk away from the book with a better understanding and appreciation of the art of decision making.
Now, Makers, the New Industrial Revolution by Chris Anderson.
Yeah, I mean, Makers is fascinating because you know the way in economic terms, Ian, the long tail describes the strategy of selling large number of unique items with relatively small quantities of each. In the Makers, it talks about how manufacturing is really being able to become a cottage industry, because makers will be able to, are using the Webb's innovation model, new technologies of digital design, the global economy. People are now working in their garages. People are able to produce things at less cost and get them transported globally. So what it's really saying is the renaissance of manufacturing is going to come back. It's already coming back as a cottage industry. Again, Chris Anderson really, there's a lot of thought into this, and it actually, you know what it is? It's a harbinger not of doom, but of good things to come. So quite insightful. Again, another good read. Now,
this next one is the one we looked at last week, and I just love the title of this one: Jab, 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 Right Hook.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Gary Vaynerchuk, and really, it's figuring out how to effectively communicate through all of these modern platforms and social media, through a picture on Snapchat, a GIF on Tumblr, and Vaynerchuk says, look, in the internet, you've got 90% of the internet users consume content, 9% edit, and only merely 1% created. So how do you go about doing that? He's a lovely dig at Google Plus, who point to their 500 million users as proof that it's gaining a fan base. But as he said, the numbers are as overinflated as the lips of a Beverly Hills housewife.
Don't know anybody that uses Google Plus.
No, exactly. So really, he's quite irreverent. But again, anybody who wants to understand all of those social platforms and how you need to communicate on them, really good read.
And our final book, rounding at the top 10.
Yeah, Daniel Pink, To Sell is Human. Look, there are over 1 million books on sales on Amazon alone, Ian. So one is always loath to recommend a sales book, but this is great because it brings sales back into the mainstream, and unfortunately it does that because it says the perception of sales is crap on salespeople. Most words that people use to describe salespeople are suit, used car salesman, and then also slimy, smarmy, sleazy, dishonest, manipulative, and fake. So it brings a bit of nobility back into sales, and it gives you some valuable lessons on why contrast is so important in the sales message. And after someone hears your pitch, it's what do you want them to know, how do you want them to feel, and what do you want them to do? Okay,
Alan Jordan from BookBuzz, thank you very much for coming in and running through the top 10 books we have done this year. Back in a couple of moments.
Breakfast Business sponsored by Danske Bank. The leading specialist bank with full transactional banking facilities for international and domestic institutional clients.